For nearly 50 years, the petrodollar system bound the US and Gulf oil giants together. Oil was traded in dollars, and in return, the US provided security. This pact made the dollar the world's reserve currency and gave Washington immense global leverage. But today, Gulf nations like Saudi Arabia and Qatar are rethinking this dependency, seeking more autonomy and exploring alternatives. The rise of new economic powers and shifting geopolitics are making non-dollar oil trades increasingly attractive. As these states consider trading in other currencies, they challenge the very foundation of American economic dominance. This isn't a sudden break, but a calculated evolution toward economic sovereignty in a multipolar world. The slow unwinding of the petrodollar pact signals a new, more complex global financial era. In response to these changes, the Trump administration launched trillion-dollar deals with Gulf states, aiming to anchor American influence. These agreements went beyond arms sales, focusing on technology and artificial intelligence to create deep, lasting ties. By embedding U.S. tech firms in the Gulf's modernization plans, America hoped to remain indispensable. Crucially, these deals required transactions in dollars, reinforcing the currency's dominance and countering de-dollarization trends. The strategy as the Gulf diversified, it would do so with America, not away from it. Yet, the sheer scale of these deals highlighted the transactional nature of the relationship and couldn't fully restore eroding trust. Washington's economic muscle was on display, but global currents were already pulling the Gulf in new directions. The U.S. could not single-handedly reverse the region's growing desire for independence. While forging new deals, the U.S. also imposed sweeping tariffs, even on allies, causing global market turmoil. For Gulf economies tied to oil, these tariffs triggered price drops and budget uncertainty. The fallout disrupted supply chains and fueled inflation across the region. More damaging was the message. America's economic policies had become unpredictable, undermining trust. Gulf leaders began to question their reliance on the U.S. and looked for more stable partners. The tariffs accelerated a pivot toward new alliances, especially with economic blocs offering stability. America's America First approach made clear that allies could come second. This realization pushed Saudi Arabia and Qatar to explore deeper ties with groups like BRICS. The unintended result, U.S. protectionism, drove its partners to diversify away from Washington. The Gulf's changing dynamics are clear in the Saudi tech giant Jahez acquiring Qatar's Snunu. This major deal signals a new era of regional cooperation, overcoming past rivalries for economic strength. By building homegrown champions, Gulf nations are integrating their markets and reducing dependence on oil. The Jahez-Snunu partnership is a model for national diversification, fostering a vibrant private sector and tech ecosystem. Before partnering globally, the Gulf is consolidating regionally, creating a unified economic bloc ready for the world stage. Seeking new partnerships, Saudi Arabia and Qatar are turning to BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. BRICS offers an alternative to the Western-led order and a platform for Gulf voices among major emerging economies. A key motivation: de-dollarization. BRICS is building financial systems that bypass the US dollar and sanctions. By joining, Gulf states could price energy exports in other currencies, challenging the petrodollar. This is more than currency. It's a geopolitical realignment toward a multipolar world. BRICS provides new markets, investment, and a collective voice for fairer global governance. For the Gulf, it's a hedge against US unpredictability and a path to greater autonomy. Stronger BRICS ties give Saudi Arabia and Qatar leverage and options in a rapidly changing world. The Gulf's embrace of BRICS aligns with their urgent push to diversify beyond oil. Ambitious plans like Saudi Vision 2030 aim to build knowledge economies in tech, tourism, and more. BRICS nations offer investment, technology, and access to vast markets, key ingredients for transformation. China and India, in particular, provide both demand for Gulf exports and expertise in digital and industrial growth. These partnerships are transformational, not just transactional, fostering mutual growth and knowledge transfer. By connecting with the world's fastest-growing economies, the Gulf is becoming a central player in global trade and innovation. This strategy reduces vulnerability to oil shocks and positions the region at the heart of a new economic order. The Gulf's pivot, regional consolidation, BRICS alignment, and U.S. protectionism redefines its relationship with America. The old oil for security pact is fading. The U.S. is now one of several powers vying for influence. Washington can no longer assume Gulf alignment or take its allies for granted. The challenge: adapt to a world where Gulf states have independent foreign policies and diverse partnerships. This shift is an opportunity for a more balanced, resilient partnership based on mutual respect. The U.S. can remain vital by supporting Gulf diversification and treating these nations as equals. The future of U.S.-Gulf relations depends on America's willingness to adapt to multipolar realities. The Gulf is charting its own course. The question is whether the U.S. will be a partner or an obstacle.